Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we sure appreciate you guys coming on with us. And it's always fun. On Friday, I couldn't see one little bit of scroll, okay, as you get your notifications here. Let me see. Because I'm hoping some scroll. There it is. Brahim, how are you, buddy? I really missed you guys. Andrea, Niagara Falls, and Rosalinda from the Kidneys of Canada, Niagara Falls. Kathy, how are you from Simcoe? Nick from our staff. Denise, Chatham, Kent, good morning. Kevin, Oshawa, Fran, Orangeville. Dear friends to the program, Wendy, another dear friend, Sue, Bolton. You guys are family. Evangeline, how are you? From Cape Breton, Judy, Mitchell, Cecilia, Shedyak, Nouveau-Brunswick, Donna, Newfoundland, and Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. John from Fenland Falls. And Karen, how are you from Peterborough? Karen from Sault Ste. Marie. Marianne, London. Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland. Deb, Harrow, Ontario. And Monica. And Anna. And Linda. Oh, we love those Lindas. John, Elgin, Illinois. Brava, how are you? Sandy, you were in the clouds already, Sandy? Good morning. Some of them is, hi, Darlene. Dan, how are you? And Joanne, Port Salerno. And Keith, good morning. Patricia. And Kristen, Saskatchewan. Maria, Ottawa. Janine, West Kelowna. Francis from Vaughan, good morning. Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Suzanne from Edmonton. Teresa. And Dunedin says hello, okay. Marlis. Dave. Gilmore. Linda. Couple more guys. Another Marine. How are you, Marine? Beverly from New Brunswick. And Ashley Anna. And John. And Rita. New Brunswick. Donna. Saying good morning to Elaine and Arlene. Andrew, South Australia. My word. Francis. Nativity is in the clouds. Denise, in the clouds. Milika, in the clouds. And I can't see that one. Judy, New Brunswick. Okay, Cynthia. Guys, I'm always sorry when you get up into the clouds. Hi, Sharon. And I think, Sharon, aren't you from Kansas? Jean. Debbie. Cheryl. Yeah, the scroll's working well. The other day, I have no idea. Sandy in Chilliwack, British Columbia. Victoria. Sylvia. Okay, let's get back to the questions. Okay, Michelle, my cousin has been experiencing tingling in her toes and fingers. Well, if it was just in the toes or just in the fingers, might be a nerve impingement. Okay? Might be a nerve impingement from the spine. Neck, fingers, low back, toes. I've seen that 1,000 times. But when you tell me both her toes and her fingers are tingling, generally I would tell you she's low in B12. I mean, that's a generality without examining her, but I saw that. She might be starting neuropathy, okay? She might be a pre-diabetic with early signs of diabetic retinopathy. That's the case, you do the reset. And of course, vitamin B12 is important. With neuropathy, I would put my patients on B12 and Navitol because of the Navitol does a lot of things, but one of the things it does do is elevate your nitric oxide. It opens up those blood vessels. And blood vessels, by the way, nerves and blood vessels are very, very intertwined. And anyway, I'm pretty well suggesting that she, either a retinopathy, but low in B12, almost invariably. Laura is asking, can you explain the treatment and cause for a benign skin condition called granuloma annulaire? Don't you just love medicine when they give you those names? Granuloma annulaire. What? Like, I tell you, it was to keep the masses ignorant, okay? Why don't you just call it a skin, I don't know, a rash, instead of granuloma annulaire? Well, look, there's a lot of things that can cause granuloma annulaire according to if you Google it. But you know what? Whenever I see anything, guys, on the skin, leaky gut, guaranteed. And usually fungal. Yeast gets into the bloodstream. It can end up in your lungs. It can end up in your sinuses. It can end up in your brain. And one of the areas that yeast loves to end up on is your skin. Granuloma annulaire, I would always say to patients when I saw it, you got leaky gut. You got a fungal invasion, and it happened to land on your skin. So what do? Well, I mean, I always suggest with food, cut out your sugars, don't feed the bears. I got this shirt on this morning, Don't Feed the Bears, okay? And that came out of a book that I wrote, I don't know, a century ago. And I don't know if I've ever gone and written a book, 23 or 24 now, books. I don't think I ever wrote a book that I didn't talk about leaky gut and fungal or yeast. The invasion of the Trojan horse comes into your system when you don't have enough friendly bacteria. So that could be caused by antibiotics, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories can cause leaky gut. And it's a dysbiosis, meaning an imbalance between your good and bad bacteria. Microbiome, guaranteed. Okay, fix that. Probiotics, for sure. And don't feed the bears. Okay, that was Laura and a different Mary. I guess we must have the other day. Did we have a Mary? I don't remember. A different Mary, okay? But I don't see Mary anywhere else. But anyways, it's written down for me, a different Mary. Well, hi, Mary. Oh, I see. There is two Marys. Two in a row, as a matter of fact. Okay. So one Mary asked, can you fully heal Barrett's syndrome? So Barrett's esophagus is a condition where the flap between your stomach and your esophagus gets worn down because you're getting constant acid coming up. And let's go to the root cause, okay? Let's go to the root cause first, okay? The root cause, almost invariably. People, your stomach was made to eat meat, okay? And you've heard this said many a time on this program. A human being has more acidity, or at least should have, more acidity in the stomach. And this is where you want, in your stomach is where you want acidity. You don't want it anywhere else. You only want it in your stomach, okay? But it's very important because when you have enough acidity in your stomach, you kill bacteria, you kill virus. It's, your stomach, guys, you don't think about it so much, but it's a huge part of your immune system. And that acidity is very, very important to kill stuff. And of course, to digest protein, to digest your foods, to turn it into a mulch. But when you don't eat steak and you eat too many crappy carbs and sugars, your pH in your stomach changes. It starts to creep up. It becomes more alkaline. You don't want your stomach to be alkaline. You want it to be more acidic than a lion. And I haven't followed a lion around, okay? Lying around. I haven't followed a lion, a lion. But my understanding is they're not big on vegetables, okay? And lions aren't big on fruit. They're big on meat, okay? Is that true or false? That's true. They're big on meat, and human beings should be big on meat. But because of our craziness, and I mean that, because of our craziness, because of dietitians, because of most doctors, and because of the media, people don't eat as much. Oh, meat is acidic. Meat's no good for you. So what do? They don't eat enough meat. They think that fruits and vegetables are the best foods in the world. They're not. I'm not saying they're no good. I'm just telling you they're not the best. Because they're not full of amino acids. They're not full of protein. They're not full of the proteins that your body are the most bioavailable. They're just not. They're not full of vitamins and minerals. They don't have everything. But eggs, meat, and cheese do. Everything. Okay? Again, I'm not suggesting that you live carnivore, okay? Because people talk to me about that every day. Should I be a carnivore? Well, I'd rather you be an omnivore. Eat, but you need to live with eggs, meat, and cheese, and the other stuff is just the fixins. You know what I mean by that? Just add. If you're metabolically good, you can have some fruits and vegetables. You can even have salad. If you want to have salad, you can have it. I'm not going to scream blue murder if you do. Okay? All I want you is not to live on the plant kingdom. You're not meant for it. You're meant to live in the animal kingdom. I can prove it to you the way your body is designed. And one of them is your stomach, which should be fully acidic. Okay, now all of that preamble to get to Barrett's esophagus. Barrett's esophagus starts when a person eats too much crappy carbs and sugars, and the pH goes up. And when your pH goes up, your body is very intelligent. What does it do? It wants to produce more acidity in the stomach. So your proton pumps pump acidity. Problem is, that acidity, a lot of it goes up into your esophagus. And that acidity don't belong in your esophagus. You have a little flap that tries to keep that acidity out of your esophagus, but with wear and tear, it starts to break down. You get Barrett's syndrome. Now, the question was asked by a different Mary. Okay. Can it be healed? Big time. I've seen it. hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times. When you change your diet, and I always get people that have Barrett's esophagus to be taking digestive enzymes to help break down the food. And when you eat correctly, Barrett's esophagus can be healed. I've seen it. Now, sometimes people are left with a weakness. Okay, well, deal with that. Okay, deal with that. And eat properly. I'm telling you, it's one of the best things that you can ever do to fix your stomach acidity and to fix Barrett's syndrome. Digestive enzymes, even probiotics, help with that. Okay. Thank you, a different Mary. Mary, here's another one. 2 Marys in a row. That's what the girls were getting at when they send me these questions. Dr. Martin, what do you think of Kava for anxiety? I like Kava. I've used Kava in my office, okay? And then the powers to be in Canada, oh, it gave me a migraine back in the day. This happened in the year 2000, it might have been even 1999, that Health Canada took Kava off the market. You couldn't get it in Canada. And that gave me a migraine because it'd been used for thousands of years. I like Kava. Now, I can tell you something, okay? And I don't mind telling you, I was in practice. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me that well, I was in practice almost 50 years. Okay, did I like Kava? Yeah, I liked it. But you know what? I like a combination of things. As you can see, like if you look at our formulas, I'm a combination guy. I like to put things together. My son and I, we've spent many, not only hours, but a lot of time clinically figuring out exact formulas plus the exact amount in a formula. Okay, so if you look at our cortisol formula, for example, okay, and by the way, okay, because somebody asked this question, Dr. Martin, I'm so confused. Well, me too. Okay, why does it say on the cortisol formula not to take before bed? Oh, can you see my migraine? Guys, because of a couple of ingredients in the formula, Health Canada, in all their wisdom, make us put on the label, don't take before bed. Do you know how many tens of thousands of people take cortisol, our cortisol formula before bed? I do. I can't get over it. But guys, you have to live within the rules. You just got it. And the labeling laws in Canada, I'm sorry, they're crazier than hoot owls. You know, it's the pharmaceutical industry has invaded and taken over Health Canada. Do you know that at one time in the 1990s, and I was involved in this, that Health Canada, in their wisdom, and they really were smart at the time, said, you know what? You know what we're going to do in Canada? We are going to have a separate division for natural products. We're going to regulate them, and we're going to make it impossible for companies to have products on the shelves in Canada, natural products, that don't contain what they say they contain, number one. And number two, that the formulas are safe. We had to prove to Health Canada that our formulas were safe, okay? And they developed what they call the NHP numbers, okay? Natural Health Product Numbers. and you had to apply. Wasn't cheap, but there was a whole division within Health Canada that would approve products, natural. And they didn't need the exact stuff that pharmaceuticals need, because pharmaceuticals are synthetic and they cause a lot of side effects. Everybody agrees with that. And so they said, let's separate the natural products. Smart. I loved it. I was part of the developing council on that with the government. And then so-called geniuses, and you guys know this, they want to change all that. They want now natural products to become like pharmaceutical products. And the reason is because Big Pharma wants to control your supplements. They don't want you taking vitamin D unless they make your vitamin D. They don't want you taking a cortisol formula. They don't want you taking B12. They want to make it. And they want to control it. And they control the government. And they're changing something that, listen, I traveled around the world. Listen. And you know what, people? I remember Egyptians. I remember people from Saudi Arabia that came to Canada to meet with me that said, you guys have the best natural product legislation in the world. It's strict, but it's fair. It really is, makes these products safe. And anything, I remember talk to him. The health minister of Saudi Arabia told me in a meeting in Edmonton, Alberta, you know what he said to me? Dr. Martin, Canada has the best legislation in the world when it comes to natural products. The best. And he was the health minister of Saudi Arabia. And you know what? They want to throw that all away now. It nauseates me. And the pharmaceuticals industry want to take over, guys, in Canada. And it makes me puke. Just about. Well, it does. Okay. And the other, no, let's see, I want to get, that was, okay, 2 Marys in a row. And then Maria. Okay, Maria says, I know chickpeas are not great due to their raising estrogen. Does this apply to all beans? Well, look, okay, number one, okay, if you had chickpeas once a month, for example, would that give me a migraine? No. It wouldn't, okay? Yeah, chickpeas, they're sort of like phytoestrogens. Don't live on them, okay? Don't live on them. And other beans, beans are usually, they have, again, I'm not big on living on beans. You have a few beans. I don't care. I really don't. They're not going to kill you. Okay? People usually eat more beans for fiber and this and that. And I tell them, look, that fiber's overrated. And you got oxalates that you got to be careful of. And yeah, to some extent, and I've written about this in books in the past, that like chickpeas and things like that will elevate. If you got any trouble with too much estrogen, then I would avoid that stuff like a plague. Okay? Anyway, Maria, thanks for the question. Sarah, I recently had back spasm, 44 years old. You're a puppy. Going for x-rays, MRI, put on steroids as pain was deadly. Okay, but that's very temporary. You don't want to be on steroids a long time. Not good. Okay? Sarah, look, I mean, you want to get therapy on your back. You want to get on the reset, because the reset is very anti-inflammatory when it comes to food. I like curcumin. Very anti-inflammatory. People really like it for muscle spasm, back pains. Nabitol, very anti-inflammatory. I would have you on those. And, get some therapy on it. For sure. Patricia. A female, 15-year-old, diagnosed with scoliosis 2 years ago. What would benefit? Get strong. One of the best things that girl can do for scoliosis is compensate by making very, very strong legs, strong upper back. I would have her in the gym and getting strong. That would really, really help scoliosis. Get to a chiropractor. That will be helpful. That's what I would recommend. Get strong. Your bones, your muscles attaching to those bones, and the stronger those muscles are, the more they can compensate for scoliosis. Okay, thanks, Patricia. Aside from the occasional drink out of a hose as a kid, that was my sports drink as a kid, drinking out of a hose. You and I, Patty, okay? I rarely drank water. I drank glasses of milk, though. Okay. Why did I not feel dehydrated as a kid, and as adults, so much water is recommended not to be dehydrated? Well, Patty, listen, okay? You never, ever, ever wait till you feel dehydrated to drink water, okay? Look, you got away with it, okay? That didn't make it right. Okay? You weren't drinking water. Come to think of it, I wasn't all that much of a water drinker. Of course, when I was like the garden hose, you were dying of sweat, you would drink water. I drank water, but I didn't drink as much as I should. I'll tell you something, Patty, milk isn't water. Nothing else is water. Only water is water. And I'm telling you, for the last 50 years, I've been telling people, you need 2 liters of water a day. That's 64 ounces. That's the sweet spot. And I used to measure it. I used to measure blood viscosity. And that's a very important measurement that they don't do anymore. You know how many people suffer with dehydration? Millions. And you know what? Because here's doctors, okay? Drink plenty of fluids. See, they don't care because they just put every fluid together and drink plenty of fluids. No. You drink water. And I'm not saying you can't drink anything else, because I love my coffee. But to hydrate the body, you need water. And that's a fact. Your brain needs it. You're like planet Earth, Patty. 70% of your body is water. Okay? Just like our planet. It's water. Do you need it? Every cell in your body needs water. And if you drink milk, I don't like people drinking milk, okay? Unless you got a cow in the backyard. But that's still not going to hydrate you. Because it takes a different route. I've taught you that in the past. When you drink water, go directly into your bloodstream. It don't pass go. It doesn't spend time in your stomach. It doesn't spend time in your gut. It goes right to your blood. In 5 seconds, it's in your blood. Anything else has to be filtered. Stomach, bowel, because the body is taking nutrition out of it. But water is water. And Patty, don't wait till you're dehydrated. Okay. Chris and Heidi are asking. I'm 70 years old. Okay. Now, Chris, Is this for you or for Heidi? Okay? Two different things. Or both of you get up 2 or 3 times a night to pee. Okay? Well, men, I don't care who you are, your prostate's going to grow, grow, and grow. It doesn't shrink, your prostate. Everything else shrinks in your body. Men, your prostate grows. Okay? It's just normal. And if you have more estrogen than your wife, you're going to have a much bigger prostate because estrogen makes things grow. Here's 2 things that make things grow in your body. Estrogen, insulin. They're growth hormones. Okay? So you got too much estrogen, knock it down. That's why I like flax seeds. And I like to dim it out. Okay? Now, your wife, if Heidi or Hetty, it says Hetty here, her bladder could be descending. Again, not enough progesterone. I would have her on my menopausal formula, and I would also block that extra estrogen by using flax seeds and dim it out. Okay, thank you, Chris and Hetty. Okay, I was saying Heidi, but it's spelt in front of me here, Hetty. Chantal, can you explain the fat loss that happens when eating EMC? Okay, eggs, meat, and cheese. My strength trainer doesn't believe it's true fat loss. Well, Chantal, I'm sorry, but your strength trainer doesn't know what she is talking about or what he is talking about. Okay. What makes you fat, okay, what makes fat is not fat. Okay, you're eating fat. You're eating eggs, meat, and cheese. You're eating protein and fat and no carbs. Your body is now going to burn fat as fuel. Why? Well, you got no carbs to burn. Carbs with insulin equals fat storage, liver, muscles, and the making of fat cells. That's how your body works, Chantal. So when you cut out the carbs, your insulin goes down and your body burns fat as energy. They're called ketones. And your body burns them. They're actually very good for you. Good for your brain and whatever. But your body is not burning muscle. It's burning fat. Because you're eating so much protein and fat that your muscles are being built up. Okay? It ain't calories. It's fuel. What fuel, Chantal? Okay? Have your trainer listen to the Doctor Is In podcast and educate themselves on how your body burns fuel. Okay? Got the memo? Good. Thank you. Appreciate you, Chantal. Okay? Joanne, what would you recommend for polycystic ovarian disorder? PCOS. You got, Joanne, you got way too much estrogen. You're too much of a woman. And with PCOS, polycystic ovarian disorder, and I was going to say tens of thousands of women with this. It maybe wasn't that many, but it was close. Thousands of women with PCOS. And they had weight gain. They had way too much estrogen that elevated their testosterone. They oftentimes had acne and they gained weight and their hair wasn't healthy and their skin wasn't healthy and they weren't doing well. Way too much estrogen. So what I would do is I dim out that estrogen. And I used to get tremendous results by lowering the 2 hormones. I put them on the reset. And remember with PCOS, okay, It's always too much insulin and always too much estrogen. And so how do you fix insulin? The reset. The reset. Yeah, that's how you fix it. Okay. Thank you for the question. And that was Johan. Linda. We love Linda. What to do for long-standing COVID? Okay, I've dealt with this for 2 months, abdominal pain, tiredness. I've increased my vitamin D. Do the reset, Linda. Do the reset for 30 days. You'll get rid of that COVID. Now you're doing the vitamin D. Make sure you're doing probiotics, because with any form of, when a bug is really dragging on, you really need to be on probiotics, especially with our formula, with the L. reuteri and the L. rhamnosus. Those are strains that will help to kill the rest of that virus. Vitamin D, vitamin A, eat lots of steak. Okay, vitamin A, steak. Really builds your immune system, Linda. Okay. And let me just see. I think I'm almost. Pamela's asking, why is my urine cloudy at night if I'm drinking 2 or 3 liters a day? Well, it could be a couple of things, Pam. It may, if you're on some supplements, that might affect it to some extent. You know what? I've never been one. Okay, here's me. Okay, and I know you can go on YouTube and you can go on these gurus and look at you're in the toilet. Look at your stool, and your stool. It'll tell you so much. Nah, you know what? That's overrated. Okay, and so is. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't look at your urine. Okay, but when I hear that it's gotta be clear, well, it depends. Okay, I just know what happens when you drink that much water. I'm not too worried, Pamela, about any cloudiness in the urine at night. You're drinking 2 to 3 liters of water a day. Good for you. You're doing the right thing. Okay, and don't get all uptight. Because someone tells you, oh, your urine's cloudy, you're gonna die. Nah, you're not. Well, yes, you will, but not because of that, okay? Anyway, I just, sometimes I really get, okay, hair loss, psoriasis. I think I answered this the other day. Brenda's asking about low stomach acid. When I do a baking soda and water test, first thing in the morning, if you don't burp within 5 minutes, it's an indication of low stomach acid. Well, I don't know that. You know what, Brenda? I know people, and now you're over testing, in my opinion. Okay, like if you want to do that, but don't, like, that's not the holy grail of finding out whether your stomach acid, like, how do you digest, man? You're doing well with digestion? Your stomach's not bothering you. You're not burping all the time. You're not, and then your stomach acid's probably very good. Okay, and I just don't, sometimes life is complicated enough as it is, and now we make it more complicated. We got to do this little test, and then, like, it's just like the urine test. Oh, if your urine isn't crystal clear, what do you want to do? Drink your urine? Why does it got to be crystal clear? Because someone said so? No, it shouldn't be a dark color. Okay? But anyway, that's just me. I always have to tell people, don't get into the weeds. You're going to confuse yourself. Okay? And I maybe disagree with your naturopath there a little bit. But anyway, if you want to do that, Brenda, I'm not against it. Okay? If you got trouble with your stomach and you don't have a gallbladder, for example, then you got to be on digestive enzymes. big time. Probiotics, big time. Don't eat at night, big time. That'll help fix your stomach acidity more than anything else. Okay, guys, I got them all. Pretty sure. Okay. We got a great week coming. Okay, keep your questions coming. We love you guys. Talk to you soon.